Welcome to the Nightly Rant. I'm Mike.
And I'm Torya.
This is the show where we talk about the awful things that have happened in our day, the awesome things that have happened in our day,
and all the things in between.
Thanks for listening, and we truly hope you enjoy.
So, it's so easy to forget what goes on at the holiday time when you're
only experiencing it once a year?
No, when you're basically working every single day of the week, every single week of the year, you tend not to see the calendar full of
lunatics?
Holidays.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So, like, I say this because I had to have a meeting with a client / business partner, and he wanted to meet the day before Thanksgiving. I didn't even think until after I was at the location that it was the day before Thanksgiving. Like, the thought never crossed my mind at all. And we meet at this place called Porto's, and it is like a banging Hispanic bakery.
It's awesome. I want to eat there every day.
So what do people get before Thanksgiving?
Apparently, Porto's.
Dessert food. Lots and lots of dessert food. There was so many people at this Porto's that every single parking space was taken up.
I have to interject. If you had a real hankering for potato balls as part of Thanksgiving feast, we would have ordered from freaking Postmates, because fuck that. That's my level of dedication.
Well, but that's kind of the story here, is that, you know, we had our meeting, and then I knew I needed to pick Ash up at around 7:30. So my goal was, you know, typically to be, I'm going to bail out of here at 7. It would take me a few minutes to get to my car and a couple of minutes to get out of the parking lot. And then the time it takes me to get to the station, I'll be there in time for Ashley.
Little did you know.
I get out there, and thankfully I'm an aggressive driver, so I got my ass out of that parking spot, no problem at all. But then it was like gridlock. We could not get out, and I could not understand why we could not get out.
And I'm on the phone with him this whole entire time, and he's just like, all the curse words, all of the angry, because people were like gesturing at him to get out of their way, and he's getting madder and madder and madder at these assholes.
Well, they're not following etiquette, you know, which is like every other person. If you're in the straight line, one person goes, then someone turns in, and the next person in the straight line goes, and someone else turns in, and that's the etiquette.
Right.
And they're like, you know, a person from the curvy one goes in, and then they look over at me from the curvy line, and they're like, and they're waving and gesturing like they're going to go in front of me. And I'm like, no, you're not going in front of me. We're going to do this the way it's supposed to be done so that we all get out at a fair time. Bullshit, you're going to jump in front of me.
Then you had that one lady who was like swearing at you out her window.
Yes.
And then you had one lady like come over and politely ask you if she could go out.
And I let her out.
Because she politely asked, like, not
extra.
A total dickwad.
That wasn't an every other one. I let her out extra.
Yeah.
Because she was polite about it.
Right.
And trust me, it cost me. It took forever to move one car length with this damn Porto's parking lot.
Why was the parking so backed up? Like, what was causing this?
Because there was every single parking space was taken up. So you got people driving around trying to find parking spaces, and they've jammed these lanes. So, like, okay, you know when you go to, like, where the Walmart is, and there's traffic in two directions in every lane?
Yes.
But cars fit because they made it wide enough for cars to fit.
Just barely, but yes.
Well, here it's wide enough for one car. So when a car goes in one way and another one tries to go in the other way, all of a sudden there's like a traffic jam that needs to be dealt with.
So essentially that whole parking lot needs to be one-way traffic.
Yeah. There needs to be a loop that's prescribed for going through there. It really does. And I think it's just irritating to me that you got to deal with that crap.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't even think your level of irritation that day tops our level of irritation today at the mall.
Oh my gosh. You guys have heard us say before that there's groups of people who are just oblivious to the world around them, and they all have their different reasons why, but it's one common denominator. It's why, you know what? I could be talking about purple-eared Indians from the deepest, darkest mountains of Montana, for all you know. Or I could be talking about your next door neighbor, for all you know. The point is that there's these groupings in society that come from all walks of life, and they have some things in common, which is they kind of walk around like,
They own the place?
what? There's other people that need to come by here? Like we talk about in Costco episodes. I think we've had 2 or 3 Costco episodes where we talk about the people that just kind of stand there and look at the ceiling. Wow, this is a really big place. Oh my. And there's like 4 of them and a family of them. Usually it's dad looking like a bozo and the 2 sons copying dad looking like a bozo. And then the mom is looking like a bozo. And they're all looking up in the sky at nothing.
Jesus cometh from
Because
Costco
dad happened to
ceiling.
gaze that way. So they all do it and they're standing and you're like, excuse me. And they kind of give you this dirty look like, what's wrong with you? Well, we go out to the mall today because, I know they get bored just being at home. And unfortunately, we have them, when we get them for the weekend, we have them first school time, then fun time, not the other way around.
Right.
And that also equals, even when they don't have school, we have first work, then fun time.
Right.
So, essentially they have to wait for the entertainment when it comes to the weekend with us. But with their mom, she gets them right away on Friday. And it's like, woo, party. Of course, she works a lot of the time, but I like to think of something for them to do to put a smile on their face, no matter what it was. And so basically what we did was we went on a long-ass trip just to get a Jamba Juice.
Pretty much.
That was the purpose.
We walked around some places.
But that was the purpose, was to go
I
get
understand.
the Jamba Juice. And I mean, we took this long-ass drive. So we get there, and like, right away I stalk these people. They're like, there's people. And I'm following them, and like, we're not talking yet, right? You and I. And we're driving and I'm following these people and I'm thinking to myself, oh yeah, I'm so smart. I caught these people just at the right time. They're walking to their car. And then I look up and I see lofts right across the street. And I think to myself, crap, with my luck, those people are going to go and walk over to the lofts. And then you say to me all of a sudden at that point in time, I had not said a thing. It's all in my head so far. You look at me and you go, what are you doing? And I said, I'm following these people because they're going to lead me to a parking spot. And you said, unless they live over there. And I started to laugh because I had those exact thoughts. Like, yeah, I got these people. And then all of a sudden I was like, well, unless, of course, they live in those lofts across the street, in which case I no longer have them.
So you found ninja parking.
Found the
Not
parking
even from the
quickly.
spot you were stalking. You found ninja
Yeah,
parking.
like we got parking real good. Got in out of there.
All good things, right? You expect this trip to the mall to be pretty flawless once you find fabulous freaking parking.
And the great part about it was we were all the way at the beginning of the mall. Like,
right.
So that we could, because it's like basically this giant loop. And so what was nice was we didn't end up like in the middle somewhere where you had to loop all the way around a second time or something. We were right at the beginning. So you just come in, loop around, done.
Right.
Well, right away we get in there. And I'm getting annoyed because here come those people. There's the people who have 75 kids with them. They're not theirs.
Right.
But everybody in the neighborhood has come over to their house to hang out. And then they decide, let's go to the mall.
And they're the unlucky person who was voted to pile all the children in their minivan?
But they did it to themselves. They didn't have to go to the mall. But there they are, with like 15 kids. And all those kids are being kids and doing whatever kids do. But at the same time, that's annoying to an adult who's trying to walk through a crowded place.
Well, and then there was the giant herd of skateboarding teenagers.
Yes, that were cackling and slamming their boards down and making all kinds of noise.
And like I already had a headache when we got there. That just made it worse.
But then you get the people, again, just like at Costco, that are completely oblivious to the fact that anyone else is near them, and they walk at a snail's pace and take up the entire walkway while walking at the snail's pace and don't even see you there. You can't even say, excuse me, to get through because they don't even realize you're there.
And if you say excuse me, they don't hear you. Pretty much.
Because they're thinking they're all alone in the world.
I mean, you could yell move, bitch, and they still wouldn't move.
Right. Because they think they're all alone in the world.
Right.
It's the weirdest thing. But I've seen it over and over and over and over in this world. It's crazy.
So then one of our band of merry lunatics wants to go into the Adidas store.
Yes.
How smart does it sound to go
yes.
into the Adidas store?
Probably not very smart.
Yeah.
But
we wanted to make the little dude happy.
Trying to make everybody happy and get them to do whatever they want to do.
Right. I can't. We also went into the Nike store. Which store did my occurrence happen in?
It was the Adidas store.
That's what I thought. And like, how am I generally rude to people in public?
Of course you are.
Hey,
no, you're not.
I generally save my...
I'm sorry, but you walked right into that one.
I generally save my, oh my God, that person was such a dickwad, for like privately when we're in the car.
Yes.
But
Usually.
this person...
Sometimes.
This older...
Except for today.
Older teenage-aged person was carrying a giant bag of his purchases and like walking... I don't know, if you could imagine a snail with the parking brake still on. That's how it was. And I'm getting annoyed. I'm getting more annoyed. And then this dude clobbers a little kid in the head with his bag because he's too engrossed in his cell phone. I'm like, I've just had enough. This person is a menace to society. So I like pushed my way past him and I was like, maybe if you stop looking at your fucking phone for a second.
But did it accomplish anything? I highly doubt
it made me feel better.
You know what's funny? You mentioned, I was sitting here thinking this as you were telling the story. You had mentioned to me that he cut in between the two of us.
He did.
I never saw him. How interesting is that? Never saw him. Don't even know who you're talking about.
You walked to the end and turned the corner. Okay, you remember this happening? Mm-hmm. And then I was nice and let one person go in between us because they looked like they were in a hurry. But then their entire herd of douchewads followed them and pushed their way in front of me. Because, you know, the exact same situation as you were talking about at Porto's. So I'm already annoyed. And then the slow one pretty much got left behind all the other idiots.
Okay.
And that's where this occurred.
But then you didn't cut in between us. You already had people in between us. You allowed them in between us.
Only
That's
the
what I
first
didn't
one.
understand. I was picturing you and I walking close together and somebody cutting between us.
Yeah, we weren't super close together because you cut through crowds better than I do.
Makes more sense. Well, but then I decided, you know what? I spend my entire life at these malls and Costco and Target and Walmart and any other really crowded store, avoiding these people on my own. And I pay so much attention to avoiding bumping into them while they're paying zero attention to me that I end up missing half of what I'm there shopping for. Like, I don't see any of it. And I end up having to spend extra time shopping because it's like, oh yeah, I needed that. Oh, that's back over there. And why did I forget that? Because I was trying to avoid some idiot blocking the walkway.
Everything takes twice as much time because you're busy dodging the oblivious idiots.
So I've decided that, you know what? I'm still going to avoid, but I'm not going to avoid to the extreme that I've been avoiding. I'll move a little bit, but they got to move a little bit too. And if they don't move a little bit, well, then we're going to collide a little bit. And that is what it is.
Like that couple that was like busy staring lovingly into each other's stupid eyes and walking forwards while not looking where they were going and almost walked straight into the four of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, stuff like that happens. I get it. It's, mistakes happen. But after a while, you can start classifying who the people are that commonly do these things.
If it happened once in a mall trip, it wouldn't be annoying. But when it happens in 108 times in the first store you go into, People are just being jackwads.
Well, and then there's themes to how they mistreat you.
Right.
You know, either they block the walkway, they bang into you, they
like
hit
the
you with
dudes who are
something.
walking in.
They hit you with something. They walk super slow in front of you. They walk really fast behind you and climb up your ass. Or if you're standing looking at something, they're climbing up your back.
Right. Like,
You
go
know, there's
away.
all different categories of these people.
Right.
And it's annoying.
Like, if you're going to walk slow, walk off to the side.
Yeah, then no one cares at that point.
If you're going to walk fast, well, now that everybody who's walking slow is off to the side, there's room for you.
Well, and like, you know what, how it works? I can see this happening all the time with us, where either you or I will be in front and the other one, of course, will be in back, because if one of us is in front, the other must be in back.
Is that how it works?
Because we don't walk side by side with one another, because
90% of the
that would be
time.
stupid.
Right.
So we're walking in a single file line, and sometimes we'll both forget, and we'll kind of be in the middle of a car aisle. And all of a sudden, it'll dawn on me where we are, or if you're the one in the back, it'll dawn on you. And we tap the other person and go, hey, let's move over to the right. And we get out of people's way. You know why? Because we work as a team.
Or if one of us is like, because we tend to work a lot, if one of us has to handle a work thing, the other one guides them so that they're not in people's way.
Exactly. And it's courtesy, and it's about thinking about other people and how you're affecting them when you're interacting with them. Because, like we always talk about, you're free to do whatever you want to do on your own time in your own house. But as soon as you start interacting with me, you have to now consider me. And then they're interacting with you, so they also have to consider you. And that's why the realm of what people do in public is so small.
Right.
Because they have to make sure that it's proof positive that the majority don't agree on much.
Well, and that kind of ties, like when I asked you if I'm generally rude to people in public, and we agreed that no, I just usually bitch about them to you in the car.
Uh-huh.
Because people don't generally deserve to be verbally abused in public.
Right.
And I completely realize if I said 98% of the things to them that I say to you, that I would probably get punched and deserve it.
Yeah.
So I keep that to myself out of respect for the other people's need to not hear nasty things said about them.
Right. Agreed.
Respect.
That's
Also-
all it takes. But that's all it takes. Respecting other people.
Also, when we went to Jamba Juice, I was mildly offended that mine was super overflowing and then spilled all sorts of down me. Even after you spent like 15
I
minutes
wasn't
cleaning it
mildly
out.
offended. I was extremely offended.
And I made kind of bitchy eye contact with the girl behind the counter, and she just gave me this like, what? Stare. Like, fuck you. How about you don't overflow my smoothie everywhere?
It surprised me because usually they overflow it a teeny tiny bit and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. And they're wiping it down and everything. You know, it's like, those are the times I go, oh, don't worry about it.
She could have
But
at least
today it
offered
was
a
like
new
an
lid.
ocean coming out of there. And yeah, she could have, like, I could have picked the lid off, poured a little bit out, would have been no big loss.
Right.
And then put a new lid on there and not have to deal with the stuff dripping everywhere. That was ridiculous. You're absolutely right about that. That was stupid.
Also, judging by how I feel, my request to change soy milk to almond milk didn't happen.
Oh, boy.
That's mildly offensive too. Well, that's more than mildly offensive.
Well,
That's really offensive.
Well, you know why that's really bad? Because
it's an
people,
allergy?
Well, people request things because of allergies, and you could die.
Right.
Like
I'm fully aware that I won't die.
right,
But
they
my
need to
insides
pay,
kind of feel like they're dying.
But people need to pay attention to the potential for problems like
Right.
that.
Especially with known allergens like soy.
Like, I remember I was working for this company here, and I had to go to Boston because we were licensing our software to this company in Boston. And I flew to Boston, got to the airport around midnight, got a car, drove through this really super dark roads to get to this hotel, get to the hotel, basically go right to bed, check in and go right to bed. Get up the next day, and I go to the office to do the work. And this is what I did for like 5 straight days. It was like a Sunday that I got there. Then Monday I went to work, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And Friday night I left. Well, I get back to the airport. I return the car, right?
Mhm.
And now I've completely forgotten where I was going with this.
We were talking about allergies.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And go through this whole thing, get in there, and the flight's a little bit delayed, which is a bummer. Like, you're at the end of your trip, you're tired, and you still have like a 6-hour flight ahead of you.
And it's delayed.
And then it's delayed, and you're just like, oh my God, I just want to go home. And we finally get on the plane, and all of a sudden, there's like this stewardess running around like freaking out. And the pilot comes on the plane. We're sorry. We're going to have to ask you, starting with row whatever. We have to deplane. And we're like, what the fuck? Get off, right? And then you see like these guys with vacuums come on and like you can see the food carts are coming off the plane. And we're like, what in the hell is going on here? And then all of a sudden, other food carts go on the plane. And then they tell us, okay, we're going to board again, starting with zone whatever. They do the typical boarding, right? We get on there. And then the pilot comes on, thank you for deplaning. It turned out that we found out we have 2 passengers aboard who have peanut allergies. And some of the snacks that were brought to us were loaded with peanuts. And so we had to clear the plane, clean the plane, and bring in new food.
Wow.
So they took
That's
it
dedication.
seriously, though. Like, well, yeah, and that's the thing. It was like, they could have, frankly, I think most reasonable people would say they could have gotten away with just removing the food, cleaning the galley real quick, bringing in the new food.
Right.
I mean, at least you got to clean the galley. But for them to have vacuumed everywhere because a stewardess or a steward could have touched it and carried it through the plane, that's dedication. But that's why you don't hear the airlines getting sued over and over and over again for nearly killing people by putting them in harm's way of allergies.
Right.
They're
You know
very
what's interesting?
cautious.
People with severe allergies like that, they also have to go out of their way to let people know that they have that severe allergy, because I've never been asked if I have any allergies when I'm booking a plane ticket.
Well, right. And you do have to go out of your way. And that in and of itself is kind of uncomfortable when you think about it.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. But there's no good answer to that. You just have to, you're the one with the ailment. You have to deal with it. It's just like if you need a handicap access or you need a wheelchair or whatever. It's up to you to tell them that.
But if you need handicap access, they ask you when you're booking your ticket. I would just think it would be interesting if they had a list of the most common allergens, and it just, do you have any of these allergies when you're booking your ticket?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what they do when you
It'd be more effective.
But that's what they do when you give blood.
Yeah. I would just think it would be a drop-down menu. It'd be more effective.
I mean, like when you give blood, they quite honestly just say, have you ever done this? Have you ever done that? 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 Okay, great. Keep on going. And you can tell why they ask the question.
Right.
It's like areas that are high in HIV or E. coli infections. I mean, there's like a list, and you can kind of determine. But it's just the people that we dealt with today. Then like to top it off, as we're leaving, we don't really know what happened. But like these 3 cars are like stuck in a lane, and everyone's refusing to move.
Fucking honking at each other. You know how I feel about honking.
So we were trying to watch, but Alyssa never likes to stand there and stare.
I really wanted to stand there.
And I
stare
respect
there.
her wishes on that, so we left. As I was pulling out, we see a cop
Issuing a ticket to
He's
the
issuing
most
a ticket
obnoxious of the cars.
To the most obnoxious, the one who refused to move.
Right.
And I'm wondering if like he came up upon it and saw them having the dispute. I mean, if you watch from my TV show that I watch, that's exactly what would happen. They're driving by, and all of a sudden they see these 3 cars there, and they're like, "Whoa, we need to go talk to these people and make contact and see what they're doing."
Well, and my guess is that car number 3 wasn't involved. He was just kind of stuck there because he couldn't go by.
Right, he was trying to get out.
Right. But car number 1 and car number 2, my guess is they both got a ticket. And he just sent the first one on his merry way.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what they would have been charged with on a ticket. That's weird.
I don't know. My guess is the Lyft driver was like reckless driving, and then he left his car parked there, all obnoxiously.
Yeah, that's probably true. Reckless driving, I didn't think about that. That's interesting. But that was our day.
Yeah.
We dealt with a bunch of crazy people.
Just pure lunacy.
And I mean, I purposely chose that supposed mall because it's outdoors, so it's wider and it's not as hot. You know what I mean? Like, if you go to an indoor mall with all those people, it's hot.
Not gonna lie, I think if we'd have gone somewhere like South Coast Plaza, it would have been 100 times worse.
Yes.
Because not only would the people have been equally as obnoxious, but they would have been rich and obnoxious. And that's like 1,000 times worse.
And it's crowded in there.
Because you like add the air of entitlement. And yes, it's inside, so it's going to be super hot. And they're going to have all their Christmas shit up, which means it takes up like half of the walking space.
Right.
Just that's all no. So the outdoor mall was the best choice.
Yeah, I thought so. It's just that I didn't count on the crazy lunatics being out.
But given that it's today, I would have thought it would be less busy.
Yeah, but this is what kicks off the shopping season, and then people get into the shopping bug for the whole weekend.
So essentially, this is the last time we're going to go to the mall until January.
Pretty much.
Solid. I'm all good with that.
Because it's just going to get worse. But anyway, that's where we are at.
I'm being cuddled by multiple cats.
Are you?
Yes.
Well, that's fun.
Do you know, Olive? Because I was laying here when you were napping earlier, that I had a nap myself. She cuddled up to me the entire time I was napping, and she's still sleeping there.
That's cute. Also, might be a reason to keep an eye on her. It
Nah,
just doesn't feel good.
Sometimes she loves me. She goes through phases.
It's cute.
Yeah, and Parker's been loving me too. I was laying here, and I felt one cat up against my, like, thigh.
Yeah.
I thought it was Parker, because it's 99% of the time it's him. But then I feel something jump up on the bed, and it's like curling up-ish by my feet, and I was like, no, that's Parker. What the heck is against my thigh? Then I thought it might have been Yogi, and I was like, nah, he jangles too much. No, it was Olive.
Yeah, it was cute when I woke up and you pointed them out, and I was like, wow, look at those two. Took a picture of them. I'll post it with the show notes.
Well, you can just put it on Instagram, too.
Yeah, and people can see the cuddly kitties.
So if you want to find us on Instagram, Yogis_podcast_network.
Yes. Lots of fun. We try to keep it updated.
Send us a sassy message. I read all of them, including the ones from miscellaneous spammers.
Yes, I do that too. It's interesting and funny. But
yep.
That's all I've got for you guys tonight.
I guess that means good night, everyone.
Hasta le bye-bye. Whoop, whoop.
Hi, everyone. This is Mike, and I truly hope you enjoyed this show. You're able to subscribe to this show on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher so as to never miss an episode. If, by chance, you did miss an episode here or there, you can catch up on all shows, past and present, by heading over to yogispodcastnetwork.com/TNR show. Thanks for listening.